in response to rapid territorial gains made by the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant militants during the first half of 2014, and internationally condemned brutality, reported human rights abuses and the fear of further spillovers of the Syrian civil war. Many states began to intervene against ISIL in Syria and Iraq, and 3 states, later, intervened or surveilled on ISIL in Libya. In mid-June 2014, Iran, according to American and British information, started flying drones over Iraq, and, according to Reuters, Iranian soldiers were in Iraq fighting ISIL. Simultaneously, the United States ordered a small number of troops to Iraq and started flying manned aircraft over Iraq. In July 2014, according to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, Iran sent Sukhoi Su-25 aircraft to Iraq, and Hezbollah purportedly sent trainers and advisors to Iraq to monitor ISIL's movements. In August 2014, the US and Iran began a campaign of airstrikes on ISIL targets in Iraq. Since then, 9 countries have also executed airstrikes on ISIL in Iraq and in Syria. In September 2015, Russian forces, at the request of the Syrian government, began hundreds of bombing raids against Syrian rebel groups including the FSA and ISIL. International coalitions against ISIL. US-led coalitions. 5 September 2014. On the margins of the 4-5 September 2014 NATO summit in Wales, US. Secretary of State John Kerry on 5 September invited ministers of the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Canada, Australia, Turkey, Italy, Poland and Denmark for a separate meeting in which he pressed him to support the fight against ISIL militarily and financially. Those 9 countries agreed to do so by supporting anti-ISIL forces in Iraq and Syria with supplies and air support, according to a statement that day of Kerry and U.S. Secretary of Defense Hagel. 3 December 2014. On 3 December 2014, at the NATO headquarters in Brussels, diplomats, ministers from 59 countries gathered to plot a way forward against the threat of ISIL. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry told the gathering that defeating the ideology, the funding, the recruitment of Daesh must be the primary focus of their discussion, more important than airstrikes and other military action. The countries represented on 3 December were the 10 countries of the above-mentioned 5 September coalition in Wales, the extra 18 countries of the 15 September France-led coalition in Paris, except for China and Russia, and 33 additional countries: Albania, Austria, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Estonia, Finland, Georgia, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Kosovo, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Macedonia, Moldova, Montenegro, Morocco, New Zealand, Portugal, South Korea, Romania, Serbia, Singapore, Slovakia, Slovenia, Somalia, Sweden, Taiwan and Ukraine. They styled themselves as the Global Coalition to counter the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant, and agreed to a strategy that included exposing ISIL's true nature, cutting off ISIL's financing and funding, supporting military operations. France-led coalition on 15 September 2014. On the International Conference on Peace and Security in Iraq, hosted by the French President François Hollande in Paris, 26 countries were represented. The countries of a US-led coalition that on 5 September in Wales had agreed on a coalition against ISIL except Australia and Poland, and furthermore Bahrain, Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Belgium, China, Czech Republic, Japan, the Netherlands, Norway, Russia and Spain. They committed themselves to supporting the Iraqi government with military assistance in its fight against ISIL, and they reaffirmed their commitment to UNSC Resolution 2170 of 15 August, so reported the French government. In retaliation for the November 2015 Paris attacks, the French Air Force significantly intensified airstrikes against ISIL targets in Syria, hitting among other the Syrian city of Raqqa, the de facto capital of ISIL. Russia-led coalition at the end of September 2015. Russia, Iraq, Iran and Syria set up a joint information center in Baghdad to gather, process and analyze current information about the situation in the Middle East, primarily for fighting ISIL. On 30 September 2015, Russia began its air campaign on the side and in support of the Syrian government. Russia was also reported to have reached agreements on coordination of operations in Syria with Jordan and Israel. Islamic Nations Coalition. On 14 December 2015, Saudi Deputy Crown Prince and Defense Minister Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud announced that 34 countries will partner in the fight against Islamic extremism, which Salman called a disease. Based out of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the coalition will include Bahrain, Bangladesh, Benin, Chad, Comoros, Côte d'Ivoire, Djibouti, Egypt, Gabon, Guinea, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Maldives, Mali, Malaysia, Morocco, Mauritania, Niger, Nigeria, Pakistan, Palestine, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Somalia, Sudan, Turkey, Togo, Tunisia, the United Arab Emirates and Yemen. Turkish intervention. ISIL is suspected of involvement in or responsibility for terrorist attacks in Turkey in May 2013 in Reyhanli and March 2014 on Turkish police. Kidnapping 49 Turkish diplomats in June 2014, the 5th of June 2015 Diyarbakir rally bombing and the 20th of July 2015 Suruc bombing killing 32 young activists. The Turkish government until July 2015 once attacked ISIL militarily, in January 2014. In September 2014 Turkey joined a US-led coalition to fight ISIL. On 23 July 2015, Turkey allowed the United States to use Incirlik and Diyarbakir air bases in southern Turkey for airstrikes on ISIL. Also on 23 July, after an alleged ISIL attack on a Turkish border outpost in Kilis province killing one Turkish soldier, the Turkish army with tanks shelled ISIL militants in Syria, killing one militant and destroying several ISIL vehicles. On 24 July 2015, an anonymous report appeared on a Turkish newspaper website stating that the United States had agreed with Turkey on the partial no-fly zone in northern Syria. While no official statement about the zone has been released, commentators still speculate about the real motives and objectives of Turkey and the US with the supposed buffer zone, or ISIL-free zone. On 24 and 25 July, in a military operation entitled Operation Marty Yalcin, against both ISIL and the Kurdistan Workers' Party deploying at least 70 F-16 fighter jets, Turkey reportedly bombarded at least 8 ISIL positions in northern Syria, killing 35 ISIL militants. Iranian intervention. In mid-June 2014, according to American and British sources, Iran sent Qasem Soleimani, Major General of the Army of the Guardians of the Islamic Revolution, to Iraq help it organize against ISIL. Iran started flying drones over Iraq, and, according to sources like Reuters, Iranian soldiers were in Iraq fighting ISIL. One war correspondent suggested that Iran on 21 June joined the air war of Iraq against ISIL. In July, according to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, Iran sent several Su-25 aircraft to Iraq, supported by Iranian, Iraqi ground crews trained in Iran. In early August, those Su-25 began combat against ISIL, according to Business Insider. By September, according to Business Insider, Iranian Quds Force personnel were deployed to Samarra, Baghdad, Karbala, and the abandoned U.S. military post formerly known as Camp Speicher. At the end of November 2014, an Israeli website claimed to have seen Iranian F-4 Phantom II jet fighters bombing ISIL in northeastern Iraq. The U.S. Army vaguely confirmed this. In March and May 2015, American commentators indicated Iranian General Qasem Soleimani leading Iraq's military strategy against ISIL. Hezbollah intervention. Iraq already, for a long time, before June 2014, Hezbollah had some presence in Iraq of advisors offering guidance to Shia fighters. According to a Hezbollah commander interviewed by newspaper The National. In June 2014, Hezbollah reportedly set up a dedicated command center in Lebanon to monitor developments in Iraq. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah on 17 June said that the party was ready to sacrifice martyrs in Iraq 5 times more than what we sacrificed in Syria in order to protect shrines. In July 2014, Hezbollah sent more technical trainers and advisors to Iraq to monitor ISIL's movements. According to a Hezbollah commander interviewed by newspaper The National in the United Arab Emirates. Shortly thereafter, Hezbollah commander Ibrahim al-Hajj was reported killed in action near Mosul. In August, Reuters story reported there were dozens of Hezbollah battle-hardened veterans in Iraq, while the Christian Science Monitor reported the party had deployed a 250-man unit, responsible for advising, training, and coordinating the Iraqi Shiite militias. In February 2015, Nasrallah admitted that he had sent troops to fight in Iraq, Lebanon. In June 2015, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah claimed that ISIL and Nusra had taken a foothold in Lebanon and that fierce battles were raging between them in Hezbollah, as well as each other.